Okay. Now to the refugee question. I think I mentioned that in my talk earlier today. I don't have answers to everything, to everything. If I did, I probably wouldn't be here. I would be somewhere in, in Brussels helping the Europeans deal with that, or maybe somewhere wherever. But I think what you're saying is, you're using the future tense, saying about, the displaced and the refugees, what will happen. The reality is that it is happening in the present tense, in the sense that Syria was a country of 22 million people, of which less than half now still live in the same place that they had lived before 2011, okay? So you have millions of refugees in refugee camps in Turkey. You have millions of refugees in refugee camps in Jordan, okay? Turkey is a relatively powerful economy. It's a powerful, it's a regional superpower. Jordan is not. Jordan is potentially a very fragile state. Oh, no, let me just take that back. It's a major challenge. It's much more of a challenge to Jordan, which is with its much smaller population and a much smaller economy than it is to Turkey. Okay, so it has regional consequences. Israel is taking not the refugees, but some of those who are hurt. They're being treated in Israeli hospitals, and then they're being returned to Syria. Okay. There are consequences for Iran and Iraq, because Iran and Iraq, Iraqi militia, Shiite militia that are supported by Iran are fighting ISIS as well. So what I'm saying is that what you are describing as something that will happen is already happening. There are millions of people that are displaced now. First of all, obviously there is the kind of, compassion that you feel to, when I look at the pictures, and it's, to be honest, many of the men there are people my age. I look at their kids, they're the age of my kids. I talked to two of the people. I mean, they used to live in Damascus or somewhere else in Syria, okay? And they had to relinquish everything they had, or much of what they had, the most of what they had, and go on a fragile boat and try to make it to Greece in order to at some point make it maybe to Germany or to Sweden. So that's in some cases it's heartbreaking. On the other hand, there are potential threats. Okay, some people argue that it might be cases where the Islamic State is sending undercover agents that would make it into Europe. Now, whether that's the case or not, I don't know. Okay, it potentially is the case. You have to remember that the Islamic State don't need the refugee crisis to send their people to Europe. They have thousands of Europeans fighting among them, okay, in their ranks, okay? They have thousands of Frenchmen and women, thousands of Britons, thousands of German citizens, okay? Probably hundreds of Scandinavian people from Scandinavian countries, including Norway. Okay, so these people have European citizenships. They have European passports. They can just travel back. Okay, and there's no way you can, probably you can get some of them, but not all of them. So what I'm saying is that the refugee crisis, I mean, it might be an element, but I think ISIS has other ways of penetrating Europe. It already has probably, and probably will attempt to do that in the future. I think if you look at what's been happening over the last summer, the ground is moving. There's a major shift in Syria. I think that's the reason why you see this wave of immigrants. Okay, it's not coincidental that you had the Iran nuclear deal, that you had Russia stepping into the Syrian crisis, and that you had this wave of refugees coming to Europe. There are links between those three shifts, and there's a reason why they happen in the same timing over this last summer. Okay, thank you very much. It was a real pleasure.